It happened faster than anyone expected. One sentence, 3 words, and suddenly British politics caught fire. Elon Musk didn't whisper it, he didn't hedge it, he typed it plainly, for the world to see. Civil war is inevitable. In Westminster, phones lit up. In newsrooms, producers froze. And inside Downing Street, aides realized this wasn't just another billionaire rant. This was a declaration, and it was aimed straight at the Prime Minister. Before we roll the footage, just one thing: if you enjoy our work, drop a like and hit subscribe. Over 98% of you are watching without subscribing. Let's change that right now. It's free for you, but it fuels everything we do. Subscribed? Perfect. Now, enjoy the video. By sunrise, Britain was already burning. Streets tense, sirens constant, rumours multiplying by the minute. The Prime Minister stepped out, calm on the surface, voice measured, eyes tight. He called the comment unjustified. He called it reckless. He insisted Britain was stable, united, governed by law. But the damage was already done, because Musk didn't retreat. He advanced. By mid-morning, he was back online. Same platform, same audience. A sharper question this time. Why aren't all communities protected in Britain? No insults, no exaggeration, just a question. And somehow, that was worse. Because millions were already asking it, quietly, angrily. Now, it was everywhere. The context mattered. Hours earlier, shocking footage surfaced from Birmingham. A pub surrounded, windows smashed, bystanders beaten, witnesses screaming for help. The attackers identified by locals as Muslim men acting in a large group. Police arrived late. Some say too late. The video spread fast, faster than official statements, faster than clarifications, faster than facts. The Prime Minister responded quickly. He condemned attacks on mosques. He pledged protection for Muslim communities. He spoke of unity and zero tolerance. But critics noticed the omission instantly. No mention of pubs. No mention of bystanders. No mention of everyone. Elon Musk noticed too. And when he reposted the footage, with that single question attached, the temperature changed. Within hours, a phrase began to trend. Two-tier justice. It wasn't new, but now it had a face. A moment, a catalyst. Opposition MPs repeated it. Radio hosts debated it. Commentators tiptoed around it. And by nightfall, even the BBC was forced to acknowledge it. Polling flashed across screens. 48% of respondents said policing felt unequal. That number climbed as the day wore on. Inside the cabinet, panic set in. Leaked messages later revealed ministers urging restraint. Don't engage Musk. Don't amplify him. Let it pass. But this wasn't passing, because Musk escalated again. This time, he went further. He accused the government of running a speech crackdown under the cover of chaos. And the numbers backed him up. 400 arrests in 72 hours. That figure came from the Home Office itself. But here's the detail that rattled people. Dozens weren't arrested for violence. They weren't arrested for organizing riots. They were arrested for posts, comments, memes. One man sentenced to 20 months for a Facebook post that never led to action. Another jailed for sharing an image. A woman arrested at dawn for a tweet. At the same time, prison officials quietly confirmed something else. Overcrowding was critical. Violent offenders were being released early. Space was needed, not for looters, not for arsonists, for people who typed the wrong thing online. Musk didn't embellish it. He didn't need to. Britain is releasing criminals to jail people for words, he wrote. Read that again. Legal experts weighed in. Oxford scholars warned the threshold for incitement had collapsed during crisis conditions. The Guardian defended enforcement as necessary deterrence. But even former judges began to express concern. When speech laws expand in emergencies, they said they rarely contract afterward. Then came the announcement that confirmed Musk's fears. The Prime Minister would review the Online Safety Act, revisit enforcement, strengthen oversight. Translation, critics said, was simple. More control, more moderation, more power to decide what could be said and by whom. And suddenly, this wasn't just about riots. It was about speech, about authority, about who gets to draw the line. What the public didn't know yet was the backstory. And this is where it gets personal. Years earlier, Labour-aligned groups had quietly targeted Musk's platform. Advertiser boycotts, pressure campaigns, accusations of harm. One organisation stood out, the Centre for Countering Digital Hate, founded by a man who would later become the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff. Internal documents showed explicit goals: reduce revenue, undermine credibility, make the platform toxic. Musk watched it happen in real time. He sued, he fought back, he survived. Now those same people were in power, writing laws, regulating platforms, deciding what speech was safe. From his perspective, this wasn't random criticism, it was unfinished business, and Britain was the test case. When asked about Musk's claim that America should liberate Britain, the Prime Minister hesitated. He smiled tightly. He deflected. "I don't really have any comment," he said. The clip went viral. Not because of what he said, because of how he said it. Careful, cautious, afraid to step wrong. Musk, meanwhile, did the opposite. He sat down for a live interview. No script, no handlers. He spoke for an hour. He criticised economic plans as vague, energy policy as incoherent, leadership as evasive. "You can't govern by focus groups," he said. "You have to decide." Supporters cheered. Critics fumed. But no one could ignore it. The contrast was brutal. One man calibrated every word. The other didn't calibrate at all. One avoided offence, the other invited it. And in an era of anger and distrust, decisiveness mattered more than diplomacy. Then Musk crossed another line. He named names. He attacked the safeguarding minister over historic grooming gang scandals. He accused her of moral failure, of silence, of complicity. The words were harsh, inflammatory, unforgivable to some, but the issue he raised wasn't fictional. Thousands of cases, years of neglect, reports buried, victims ignored to avoid accusations of racism. When pressed for comment, the Prime Minister brushed it off. "People care more about the NHS than Twitter," he said. That answer landed like a thud, because Musk wasn't talking about social media drama. He was talking about children, about institutions failing the vulnerable. And the dismissal confirmed what critics feared. Some conversations were simply inconvenient. Now the country was split, not left versus right, but control versus liberty, safety versus speech, order versus openness. One side argued the riots proved speech needed limits. Misinformation killed, words inflamed, action was required. The other side argued the riots were being used, weaponized, a pretext to expand power and silence dissent. International eyes turned toward London. In Brussels, officials monitored closely. In Washington, think tanks issued briefs. In Canberra, lawmakers cited Britain as justification for new misinformation laws. Brazil loomed large. Only months earlier, X had been banned there for refusing to censor government critics. The precedent was clear: comply or be crushed. Musk framed it as a global fight. "This isn't about me," he said. "It's about whether governments get to decide what's true." His opponents scoffed. They called it ego, interference, a foreign billionaire meddling in democracy. But even they couldn't deny the stakes. Polls reflected the fracture. Support for stricter speech laws rose among older voters. Younger voters rebelled. Trust in institutions dropped across the board. The Prime Minister's approval dipped 5 points in a week. Musk's follower count surged. Every tweet became a headline. Every response from Downing Street felt reactive. And through it all, one question remained unanswered. The first question, the simple one: why aren't all communities protected equally? No statement fully addressed it. No speech resolved it. Because answering it required acknowledging uncomfortable truths about policing, about politics, about fear of offence shaping policy. History hovered in the background. Britain, the birthplace of liberal democracy, the nation that exported free speech ideals to the world, now debating whether speech itself had become too dangerous to trust. Experts warned of a familiar pattern: crisis, outrage, expansion of power, normalization, forgetting what was lost. So where does this end? With legislation passed quietly while attention drifts. With platforms fined into submission,
This is the first
with leaders
test,
emboldened by silence,
and we go into that test
or with a
fighting for
backlash that
every
reshapes politics entirely. Musk isn't backing down. He's hinted at legal challenges, at public campaigns, at taking this fight beyond Britain. The Prime Minister faces a choice too: confront the criticism head-on, or continue to deflect. Each day he waits, the narrative hardens. Each careful answer feeds the perception of weakness. And in politics, perception often becomes reality. This war of words has already changed something fundamental. It's exposed fault lines long ignored. It's forced debates that polite society avoided. And it's reminded everyone watching that power, once expanded, rarely shrinks. So ask yourself this: are these laws about safety or about control? Are these arrests about justice or about fear? And when a government decides what you can say, who decides when they've gone too far? Because this isn't over. Not even close. And the next move could redefine Britain for a generation. If you want to stay ahead of this story as it unfolds, don't look away now. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay with us. Because the truth doesn't end where the headlines stop.